The way I teach the class is breastfeeding mothers have 4 main questions, and baby pops out, and this is what comes into her head. How do I know my baby's on the breast correctly? How do I know my baby's getting enough milk? How often will my baby need to feed, and how long will each feed be? And do I have enough milk for my baby? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of those questions, and we're going to delve into them, and I'm going to explain the answers to you in a way that will explain breastfeeding, but also I'm going to explain the answers to you so that you understand why the answer is the way it is. Because one of the problems we have with breastfeeding in Ireland is people say things, and there's like, that doesn't make sense. Why have they said that? They make, you know, pronouncements. Oh, well, your baby's not getting enough milk, or you've got a hungry baby, or your body's not producing enough milk. And it's like, that doesn't make biological sense. So I'm going to try and make this make sense to you. This baby latched onto the breast. And tell me, you describe to me what you see. When you look at those lips, describe it to me.
Lips are parted.
Yeah, they're nice and wide, aren't they? Yeah. What else do you see?
They're kind of pushed back.
They're kind of folded back, yeah. So we call that flanged out. That's the technical term for it. And this is what we call a wide latch, okay? That's a nice wide latch. So that baby has come to the breast with his mouth wide open like this. Ah, okay? He hasn't come to the breast like this. He's come to the breast with his mouth wide open. And what that has allowed him to do is to get the nipple back here, all right? We want the nipple to be right at the back of the baby's mouth so that it won't be compressed or squished or damaged. The tongue comes forward over the lower gum, like that, and that's what folds out the lower gum, the lower lip, and it draws the nipple right to the back. The tongue works in a wave-like motion, creates a pocket of negative pressure, you're going to see this in a film clip, creates a pocket of negative pressure, and the milk pours in. The baby doesn't go chew, 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 chew. The baby goes like this. His mouth is wide open, and he does gentle jaw movements like this, and the tongue is doing all the work. All right? When the nipple is right at the back of the baby's mouth, it is not going to be damaged. It is not going to hurt. All the mother is going to feel is a gentle tugging sensation, a gentle pulling sensation. All right? So let's make sense of this, because I know there's this whole cultural myth that, oh, your nipples have to toughen up, or you have to tough it out for a few weeks while you get used to it and all. Does that make biological sense? Let's just backtrack a minute. What is breastfeeding at its most basic? What is it when we whittle it right down to what it essentially is? What is it about?
Survival.
Yes, continuation of the species. Does it make sense that something that's so vital to continuation of the species be painful? Let's talk about our other mammals, okay? Because we're mammals, right? We're named after our mammary glands, okay? Puppies, kittens, foals. Do we see their mothers wincing in pain? What would their mothers do if it was hurting? They'd walk away. If breastfeeding was meant to be painful, we wouldn't be here because our mothers would have given up. They would have gone at that. Okay? Breastfeeding is meant to be a pleasure and a joy to do. It is meant to be your reward after being pregnant and giving birth. It is your 6 months of get out of jail free card. You do not have to go to the kitchen. Right. Okay? Okay, quick anatomy lesson, guys. This is a breast, okay? The brown bit is called the areola, and the sticky out bit's called the nipple. Everybody's areolas are different sizes, and everybody's nipples are different sizes. Trust me, this is my area of expertise. And if your nipple doesn't stick out when you're cold, you might have a flat nipple, okay? If you think you've got flat nipples, send me an email, because I want to send you some information about that. If your nipple is dimpled in, you have an inverted nipple. And again, send me an email. I want to know about it so I can help you sort that out before Baba comes. All right? So, Every time your baby is latched onto the breast, what I want you to do is look down and look at the lips. I want you to check that baby's got a nice wide open mouth, that the lower lip is folded out, that the upper lip is folded out, and that it's not hurting, that it is comfortable. And if it's hurting, you have to take your finger, slide your finger into baby's mouth. I'm going to show you how to do this. Break the suction and take baby off, and away go. How do I know that my baby is getting enough milk? Here's the fun answer. This is a big concern for a lot of mums, okay? Because what's the difference? You can measure. There's no empty full on this, is there? That'd be really handy, you know? Or empty full on the baby, you know, it had a little dial here that you could see. Or if the baby came off and said, that was great, Mum, thanks very much, I'm going to go to sleep now, you know? There's no way of knowing. It's really stressful. Especially in the early days when you're producing colostrum, which is really comes in very, very small amounts. And you know, there's not much to see. So it can be very concerning. So the answer to this question is, the clue is in the poo. All right? And I know you might think, well, that's a bit of a silly answer, but here we go. Welcome to parenting. All right? This is a normal breastfed poo. I'm talking around 4 to 5 days after the baby's born. I'm going to talk about the first 4 to 5 days in a minute. I just want to skip and go over to the first 4 to 5 days, because that's when you're going to be at home, on your own, winging it, okay? And you're going to go, oh my God, is my baby getting enough? I'm getting a bit stressed here, all right? What health professionals say is that if the baby is pooing 3 to 5 times in a 24-hour period, then your baby is getting enough milk, okay? What we know is that the baby is pooing 3 to 5, that's not diarrhea, by the way. That's normal. It's meant to be like that. It can be a little bit sort of like running scrambled eggs. It can have a little bit of fluff to it, but that's fairly normal, all right? So if the baby is doing 3 to 5 golden mustard coloured poos a day and 6 to 8 wet nappies a day, then your baby is getting enough. So what we expect is baby to do 1 meconium poo on day 1, 2 meconium poos on day 2, and 3 meconium poos on day 3. Quite easy to remember. 1 on 1, 2 on 2, 3 on 3. And we're still looking for the 4 to 6 wet nappies a day. All right? And then on the 3rd or 4th day, your mature milk will come in. Your milk's going to come in. And the poos will start, they'll do what we call changing. It's called a changing stool. And babies are born with extra fat pads in their cheeks to tide them over that 2 to 3 day period while we're waiting for mother's full milk to come in. All right? Again, a lot of times in the hospital they don't understand that. How often will my baby need to feed? And how long will each feed be? So this again is a concern for a lot of mothers. The answer to this is often and oftener, trust your baby. The point is that breastfed babies feed very frequently. That is the biological norm. Okay, so let's just discuss that for a second. Breastfed babies will feed at least 8 to 10 times in a 24-hour period. At least.
All the time.
For the first 6 months. For the first 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. Let's just say baby's feeding 10 times in a 24-hour period. How often is that if we were going to average it out? Yeah, but then we're going to feed for half an hour, so we're down to kind of every 2 hours. All right? This is roughly the size of a newborn stomach. Okay, it's not a newborn stomach, it's a stomach, but what do we notice about it? Yeah. How much do you think baby can take in a feed? Not even. The first day of life, the total amount baby will take is anywhere from 30 to 50 mils. In total, that's 30 mils just there. Okay, so about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces in the first day of life. Each feed is only going to be about 4 or 5 mils. So the laid back latching is absolutely fantastic. It's been recently researched by a PhD midwife in the UK, Dr. Suzanne Coulson, and what she realised is that when we lay a baby on the mother's body, the baby knows how to breastfeed. He knows exactly what he's doing. By just placing baby here, the baby starts to do this, and starts to do this, and eventually he'll come over and self-attach. And you don't have to do anything. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way to breastfeed, especially if you've had a vaginal birth, and this is where they place the baby anyway. And then it's really, really cool to watch. Our babies are incredibly competent. Basically, there's like 19 different reflexes under the baby's body that when he feels the mother's body on his body in a reclining position, he just automatically knows what to do, and you don't have to do anything. The cross cradle is if you're having a problem with the latch, this is a good position. If you feel like, oh, my baby's latching on, but it's hurting, and I just want to make sure I'm getting the latch real good, this would be the position to use. And you could just kind of turn baby to face you, tummy to tummy. You support baby's neck and shoulders. Oops, baby, you're on my microphone. And you tickle baby's top lip. You look for the wide open mouth, and you bring baby on. With both positions, you look down and you look at the... Yeah. And you're checking that breastfeeding isn't painful. If it's hurting, you take a finger, slide into baby's mouth, take baby off, and start again.
So just finished the class. 10 to 10 at night now, so I'm heading back to Waterford. Alan had to come different time to me, so unfortunately we're in 2 different cars. But I just thought the class was brilliant. It was so great. She really was very open about everything, from using breast or nipple shields to pumping if you need to, and I think that really, really helped, and really, really enjoyed it. But my head is melted now and I need to get on the road.